to infinity and beyond.
What's up, everybody? It's Roger and James here from DisKingdom.com, and in this episode we're going to be discussing the Disney Afternoons collection, which is going to be released on Tuesday, the 18th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and also Steam, but no Switch version. Yeah, so James, so you've actually been able to play this for the last couple of days. I'm going to have to wait till release day tomorrow for when it comes out when we're recording this. So what's been your initial impressions of this one?
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, all 6 games are enjoyable, although Darkwing Duck, I love the show, but that game can just die in a fire. That's such a frustrating game. But I loaded up Ducktales first, the original one, because that's the game that I had the most experience with, and it was kind of amazing. I haven't played the game in 20-something years. I didn't play the remastered version when that came out a couple years ago. And I still remembered secrets from web. I was like, oh, yeah, I can go through that wall right there. There's nothing in that wall. And get, so it's kind of funny how those things stick with you. But overall, it's a really good collection. I think it's, $20 is what they're going to be asking for it.
Yeah, about £16, yeah.
So I think if anyone is interested in these games, like either you grew up with them and you have fond memories, or you want to share it with your kids or something like that, $20 is a steal for these. Having said that, I did encounter technical issues with the titles. Some of those I think are in the original version because it varies from game to game. Like DuckTales has a lot of technical issues with it, and I think when I was a kid I just didn't notice them because kids don't care about frame rate or whatever as long as the game's playable. But I did have my entire system lock up on me, where I actually had to pull the power plug to turn off my PlayStation and start it up again, which was fun.
Was it just happened once?
Just once, and it happened while I was saving, or when I was transferring between games. Like I just finished DuckTales and I was loading up Rescue Rangers, and it just hard locked. I don't know what happened. I only encountered it once, and it was on the first day I was playing.
Okay.
But buyer beware in that case.
Yeah. So hopefully it's just maybe a single glitch. Maybe there might even be a patch for it. So the actual collection includes, as we said, 6 games. You get Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 2, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales 2, and Talespin. As I said, they're out. They've been sort of upgraded to full 1080p HD support. There was also some new new additions that they've done to it. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I'll do the new additions first. So you can play the game in 3 different modes, and this is for all 6 of the games. You can do it in kind of just a casual mode, which is the game that with the ability to rewind as much as you want. Yeah. Even after you die. So, because you remember the old Nintendo games, you would die, and then your character would jump off screen and make a comical what sound. You can actually rewind from that point to all the way back to the beginning of the level, and so obviously I abused the heck out of that, and I beat DuckTales and I beat the first Rescue Rangers using the rewind feature, and this is just for fun.
I might actually finish Afternoon Rangers. 25 years or 20 plus years after I brought the original, I might actually finally complete it by this rate.
Because if you die and you rewind, it doesn't count as a death. You don't lose a life. You don't lose a continue. So for casual gaming, it's great because I had never beat Rescue Rangers. I still have never beat Darkwing Duck. I had never even played DuckTales 2 or Rescue Rangers 2, and I played Talespin, but I don't really remember playing it. I know I did, but I don't remember the experience. I had actually beaten DuckTales, way back in the day. But
DuckTales is slightly different because obviously you've got the 4 different levels, 5 different worlds, so you can I always remember it being a great game because you could, unlike the other ones, you could kind of jump between the levels and try them out, and you experience a lot more of the game that way rather than just playing through one level, you die and you have to restart and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. So much of these games was built around that die and start over, die and start over. These games are actually only like 2 or 3 hours long when you play through them, assuming you don't die. Yeah. So there's that. There's the ability to rewind. You can also save a single save state for each of these games, and you can load up. So if you play an hour and a half of DuckTales and then your wife sends you to the grocery store, or your kid needs something, you can actually save it and load it again later. You can only do it once. Well, you only have one save.
Yeah.
It's
that kind of weird thing, isn't it? Because it kind of, it's hard to explain when you look back at these games that, when they came out, there was no save states. You maybe got 2 continues. The whole thing of it might be an hour or 2 game, but you had to master it to get and you would be, if you're on the 5th level of 10, whatever it was, and you needed a pee, or you needed to, you were going out, or you had to go to school, or you had to go to bed, you basically either kept going, or you had to reboot. That's why we all got so used to those first levels, because we constantly had to keep playing them. So for me, this is great, because it sounds like I'm finally going to be able to sort of kind of really explore these games. You mentioned there DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2. I never owned them. And trying to buy them on the secondary market on cartridge, it's just too expensive. I just couldn't do it. I've got a few of these games on cartridge anyway for the retro devices and stuff. It was funny because I literally had recorded a DuckTales and a Chip and Dale Let's Play. And literally, like 3 days later, they announced the game set. So I was just like, well, there's no point putting them out, because it's like, I'll wait till the actual new game to come out. But I did recently play them anyway, and obviously played the remastered version when that came on Xbox 3, Xbox One. So I'm really excited about this, because Chip and Dale was my first console game I bought, with my own money, and it cost me like about £40-50 25 years ago. You can go buy the brand new game now for the same price. That's and obviously that's like paying £200 probably for a game now. So I have got nostalgia, and I love these kind of things. Obviously, a Disney fan, but for me, Chip and Dale and DuckTales are the ones, and I also want to jump into those second games and experience them for the first time.
Yes, and I only have jumped in a little bit into DuckTales 2 and Rescue Ranger 2, but I'm looking forward to those, having beaten the first ones now. So in addition to playing through those games like that with the rewind and the save states and stuff, you can play the games as they were originally designed, which is, you die, and you have X number of continues. On the flip side, this is called time attack mode. And so if you do actually beat the game, it will record how long it took you to beat the game, and it will upload that time to global and friend leaderboards. Right. So you do have that, and you do have those bragging rights of, I beat DuckTales in an hour and 15 minutes or whatever. Now, what's really cool about that, though, is if, I did it, I haven't, you won't see my name on the list, but if I did, and you're like, oh man, how did he do it? I can't get past this. You can actually watch my playthrough. All right. Not like on YouTube or whatever, but within the game itself, and you can actually see like what I did, where I failed. And then you can even like directly challenge that. I don't know the point of directly challenging it, but apparently you can.
Well, I suppose it's kind of that speedrunning zone, isn't it? People want to maybe trying to encourage people to do speedruns. Yeah,
it's just I don't see the point of directly challenging somebody when your time isn't going to be dependent on anything in their run at all. Like, I can either directly challenge you, or I could just do it by itself, and the result will be the same. But still, it's cool that they have that feature. It's cool that they have the ability to check it out. So you also have the global leaderboards, and and there's already a couple of them populated. Darkwing Duck doesn't have one yet, though. Nobody has beaten Darkwing Duck Time Attack.
I must admit, I remember the only time I did it on one of the Zen Pinball games. I had a game like a couple of days earlier, and I got into like the top 3. And I remember screenshotting going, I am never, ever going to be on this board because I'm so bad at this game. But because no one was playing it yet, I'm on the board and I'm number 3. This is like, third best in the world. You might not be able to play it, but that still counts. So you're going to make the next to it.
Download it at 12:01 a.m.
Yeah. Play
through it really fast. And look, I'm number 3. Yeah. But yeah, I totally understand that. I'm not actually in the top 10 on any of these. And so I never will be. But in addition to that, they have one last mode, which is boss attack mode. And it's literally exactly what it sounds like. You fight each boss from the game in succession. You don't have rewinds. You don't have the ability to save or anything, but you do have unlimited tries. The one trick is that they time you. And again, they put up a leaderboard based on times. I don't recommend doing this if you haven't already played the game because it does reveal the secrets of the bosses. However, on the flip side, if you're having trouble with a boss, you can go into the boss attack mode, watch some of the better players, how they did it, and then you can see, oh, I didn't realize that if I timed it this way, I can do that. Because like I was watching a Ducktales boss attack, and to go through all the bosses by a good player is literally a couple minutes, just like 2 or 3 minutes. And I watched this one guy beat up the Abominable Snowman level. It's like, oh, I didn't realize I could jump on him when he's in the middle, and then again right before he stops dropping the avalanche balls on you. It's like, oh, so that goes like twice as fast.
Because that was the thing, obviously, when they originally came out, you would have obviously got there, and if you had died, you would have to restart, and it would take you another hour, 20 minutes to get to it. So this is kind of the thing of people we're not used to now. I mean, I remember even the bosses being, a pain in some of these games, but I think this is great. It definitely feels like they've kind of gone up and beyond of just putting out straight ports.
Yeah, and this is what I'm kind of hoping they'll do with the Switch, and I'm hoping that they're just holding these games back for a virtual console release rather than as a collection or something. But
then they would have all those options then, wouldn't they? They would just be a straight up just game then, wouldn't it?
Except we know that the Switch Virtual Console is supposed to have like online leaderboards as well, even for games that didn't. Well, almost none of them would have had it because we're talking like Nintendo, Super Nintendo era stuff. And if this is, basically. So if this is what Nintendo is looking at as kind of a model, then it'll be great. We'll still have to wait and see how that actually works out, though.
Yeah, kind of hoping in some ways that it's that thing of, like I said, I will pick this up on PlayStation 4, but also, to be honest, I know that if it got released on the Switch, I probably would rebuy it. If it was out, I'm going to be honest, if the Switch version was out tomorrow, I'd buy the Switch version straight away. But whether or not this is going to be, I can't help but wonder if they're going to do like a virtual console and sell them all individually. It wouldn't surprise me.
That's kind of what I was getting at. I think that they're probably going to sell them individually on the Wii, on the Switch, probably for what, $3 or $4 a piece, which means you'll end up paying more. But if you can buy them a la carte, then you don't have to buy Darkwing Duck and save yourself the frustration.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Talespin as well on cart, and I don't think I've actually played it yet. But see, I would just buy Ducktales and Chippendale again. So,
I think that's why it got bundled with 4 other games, or at least 2 other games. Is people like, Ducktales is the one that most people grew up with.
This is the thing. I mean, for the price, I think I personally feel it's a good value for the price of it is. I think it really depends on your nostalgic version of it. I can see a lot of people wanting to wait for this to drop in price because it's that odd thing with games, isn't it? Of like, we put this value that time devalues a game when in the actual fact it doesn't. But then we do the same thing really with movies. New movie comes out, it's expensive, and then we expect to see it in the bargain bins and be that price. And then when we see it for, well, I'm not paying that. It's the same thing with games. And
it's the age-old time versus money equation. I can pay $20 for it now and experience it, or I can wait a couple of months and pay $10. Is not having it now versus having it in the future worth that $10 difference? And if this was a $60 release, absolutely. Wait for it to drop. But at $20, if you like side scrollers, if you like the classic games, it's not even really a question.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like that Chippendale and Ducktales. They could have been $6, $7, $8 each, and I would have picked them up. I even actually said to my mum last night, I said, guess what game's out tomorrow? And she goes, what? I said, I'm getting Chippendale Rescue Rangers on the PlayStation 4. She just literally started laughing, going, really? She's like, I said, yeah, they're re-releasing it. And, even my mum remembers the fact of me, and it was that thing of like, it's that kind of thing of, for me, that these games have that connection, which is one of the big things. I mean, I would not be at all surprised if we see, we've already seen some of the re-releases on PC. I think we'll end up seeing them on the Switch. I think Disney and all the companies are all in this zone now of trying to lucratize these things. And I'll be honest, I'll keep buying it. It's cheaper than buying the ports, the cartridges, and you can go on. And also they're running in 1080p and this new TV doesn't even have analog cut. It doesn't even have
No.
the spot socket. And like, okay, and obviously even now, I mean, a lot of the retro consoles will have HDMI and stuff, but yeah, how does it look? Because have they got like the screen around it?
All right, yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to mention this. As you said, it's 1080p now, but the original games were in a 4:3 aspect ratio, which doesn't lend itself too well. So you actually have three options. You can play it in original mode, which has a border around the entire game with obviously wider borders on the side than on top. You can do kind of not a stretched version, but an enhanced version where the borders are only on the sides. You don't have any on the top or bottom. And then you can actually stretch it so that it takes up the entire screen. I played it like that for about 10 seconds. It's just, nope, can't do it this way. So I have it with the borders on the sides. So you've got, the standard 4:3, but you still have the thing on the side, and it's got like background art. So you play Talespin, and there's Kit Cloud Kicker, and Rebecca Cunningham and whatnot sitting in the background. They're not doing anything. It's not animated.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Obviously, I mean, like me now, 50-inch TV screen. It's going to look ugly because when we played this originally, we were on little 14-inch CRTs in the living room, or I think it was at the moment the NES was in the dining room, and that was what they were on. So yeah, they kind of have to, it's not like the remastered version where they look nice and pretty. They are going to look pretty rough, and it's like this weird thing of these games I feel are aimed at us.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's certainly going to be younger players who will want to get these simply to see where side scrollers came from. They are good examples of the classic side scroller formula, but mostly it's going to be people who grew up with the Disney afternoon, not just the games, but the shows.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know that's going to be attack. I'm going to be playing that most this week. It's actually that kind of thing of it's like we said this week. We've actually got free releases of sort of Disney games, so it is that kind of thing of there's quite a lot, but this one I know is going to be the one that's probably going to suck up my time the most because I'm going to want to play for all of them, probably play through the different modes, and if I can actually play through and complete them, I will be very, very happy.
I mean, you can definitely play through and finish DuckTales and Rescue Rangers. I think DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2 are about the same. I don't know how long Tailspin is, but I'm guessing it's the same. Darkwing Duck is the real question, because even with the rewind function, I gave up on it after about 45 minutes. It was just the frustration level in that game is so high.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're all on, because it's that weird thing. Like now, it's like, okay, finish the main story. Okay, that's the gameplay, and I just think back and thinking, that era, the amount of games I finished was probably so few. I didn't know. End credits was something like, oh my word, I think I completed Super Mario Brothers on the NES like once, maybe. I mean that was, and then once you learned about the warp codes, you could kind of do it a little bit easier. But you never saw the end credits then. Now you see the end credits, so it's time to flip it off and get another game. You just never saw that.
Yeah, and also it's worth noting when you beat these games, you get like a splash end screen, like Scrooge McDuck saying, "Thank you, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You guys helped me so much." No, they didn't. But and then it just ends.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you back to the start screen. It doesn't take you back to the game select screen or anything. It just ends. You actually have to quit out of that, not of the collection, but just out of that individual game. And it happened for Rescue Rangers as well. So I'm assuming it happens for all 6 of the games.
Yeah, but there's a few other little bonus and stuff features I think in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's like a couple of not screenshot, but like concept art galleries where it'll talk about Disney sent over the original animation proofs for Darkwing Duck, so Capcom could use them in like the splash screen, and they went back and forth talking about like these are what the characters would do and so on. Typical special edition fluff stuff, the kind of thing you would get on a DVD. And if you really want to, you can listen to all the music from all the games in their original MIDI format. Whatever you want to listen to, they're all available there. Honestly, it made my ears bleed.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, but when the internet was first out, of like downloading MIDI, that was. I was like, I haven't heard that name in years. But yeah, I mean, so like I said, it looks a bit funny. I think next week we'll kind of I'll obviously share my thoughts on it as well. But definitely sounds quite a promising little title.
Yeah, and the only thing that's missing from it, which isn't a Capcom game, but is a nostalgic game for old gamers, would be either Mickey's Castle of Illusion, which was obviously a Sega game, or Mickey Mouse Capades, which I don't know who the developer was, but I assume it wasn't Capcom. But it makes me want to get those two games in their original forms, also in like collections like this.
What's that in here? What have I got? See, all these like little.
Yeah, exactly. Got the originals, and I know that they did do a sequel to Castle of Illusions, or was it a remaster, or was it
they did
a
do
new
a
game?
but there's also like Word of Illusion as well.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. Yes, those weren't by Capcom, so they're not going to be part of the Capcom collection. They also have nothing to do with the Disney afternoon, so you know, there's that.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, things like Aladdin and stuff. Like I said, great games, but these are very much NES era rather than like those there were Genesis versions.
Right.
So I mean, it's like some of them. I think definitely Ducktales and Chip and Dale were NES. I think Darkwing Duck and Talespin did have like hybrid. They were right on the edge, so they might be they probably looked a slightly bit better than the NES versions.
Well, I know I was doing some research on them, and DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2 were both in the NES era.
Yeah.
But if you read reviews from the time period, or at least like, you know, briefs from them, they're all like, man, these games should have been on the Super Nintendo. We wish they looked in the 16-bit rather than 8-bit. So at least those two were NES only. I want to say that like the Super Nintendo versions of Darkwing Duck and Tailspin were actually different games, but I can't say that authoritatively. So
these are definitely the 8-bit ones. I'm looking forward to playing this one. As you listen to this, guys, it's out today on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam. Let us know your thoughts on the game. I'll be doing some Let's Plays and stuff videos over the next week of all 6 of the games and some different things. Definitely something I'm going to be jumping into. And we're going to have to kind of challenge each other with some time attack and boss attack. More boss attack than time attack, I think. Definitely, no. I'm really looking forward to this game. It's something that's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll kind of tied over to Mario Kart. But as per usual, guys, you can always comment below with your thoughts on the games. You can also hit that subscribe, follow, or like button. You can find us on all the different social medias, and you can find James over at heroiclegacy.com and at Vagabond Peak on Twitter. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.